Traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. Guys, as you're tuning in, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. Before we talk about the disclaimer, before we talk about this epic green day that we've had today, I would quickly like to mention to you guys that the Relentless Trader merch will be officially dropping on December 15th. That is a Friday. So keep an eye out. The Relentless Trader merch will be here for the holidays. Now, that being said, let's quickly talk about our disclaimer. Let's quickly talk about the risks that are associated with day trading. First and foremost, guys, remember, like any other business here in the world, day trading has its risks. Day trading is risky. It has its pros, it has its cons. And one of the biggest cons about day trading is that, we have all of our assets in our account, which is essentially liquid cash. And if we are not disciplined, if we do not have proper risk management, if we're not trading a proper strategy, we can lose money, and we can lose money very, very quickly. It is pretty common for people to lose their entire accounts in the stock market when they do not have proper risk management. So the recommendation around this community, and I would say even in general in the trading space for anybody who's being transparent, is to, hey, start off slow. Go with small share size. Use what is called risk money, a small amount of cash that if you lose it, it does not affect your life. Secondly, you can use simulators. That's where you can practice trading the live market with artificial currency. It's also known as paper trading. You can practice, build experience, become competent, and when you become consistent, then you can increase the risk and take on more share size. All right, guys, so take it slow. Go through the learning curve, go through the process in a safe and methodical way. Secondly, the live streams and recaps are not an invitation to copy trade. What I'm doing is very detailed, very sophisticated. There's a lot of components, there's a lot of moving parts. You can't just say, hey, this guy's, boom, hit the button, I'm gonna try and buy it. Guys, that's not how it works. Trying to copy trade me is a recipe to lose an account. There's a system, there's a strategy, all right? Keep that in mind. And besides, the YouTube stream has a delay, there's latency there, all right? So lastly, keep in mind, be very careful. I do not invest money for my subscribers. So be careful with fake accounts, right? People are trying to impersonate me and use my likeness. This is very fraudulent. And the big platforms are trying their best. Discord, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. As we ban and report these people out of the community, they're creating new fake accounts. So be very careful. Remember, I do not invest money for my subscribers. I do not trade Bitcoin. I do not do options trading. I do not do Forex trading. I will never entertain any conversations about any crazy cryptocurrency or coins. I will never, this is also a big red flag here, I will never message you first. So if there's an account that says Relentless Trader that just messages you first out of the blue, it's a fake account, guys. It's a fake account. All right, so stay safe. Do not get yourselves scammed. You can feel free to read through here the rest of the disclaimers that we have on the screen. All right, so moving into today's recap. The first question that I'm going to get is Relentless. Okay, we see on the thumbnail that you're up today $5,600 in just 1 hour of trading. And yes, guys, this is true. Now, this 1 hour of work today was the accumulation of 5 years of me, learning how to trade and becoming profitable over the years and practicing and improving. It's not just, hey, I show up today and I'm green 5K. No, I've been trading for years, blood, sweat, and tears, countless hours of trading and studying and reviewing and refining, all right? So the first question I'll get is, hey, Relentless, how did you find the stocks that you traded today? Guys, I use a scanning software called Momo Pro. Momo Pro is the software that I use. And when it comes to gap scans, right, this is the type of scan that can scan the market for you overnight, coming into that next day. When I wake up in the morning, hey, what stocks are up versus yesterday's closing price, right? This is what this scanner here does. And so I show up and I can see a stock like SERA is up 200%, currently around $7. 63 million shares of volume, lighter float, high relative volume. These are the things I like to see, a gap of 12% starting the day. And so, when it comes to hyper scalping, which is what I do, right? Taking hundreds of trades within a day, utilizing the free commission structure. Guys, when it comes to hyper scalping, we want stocks that have the ability to move. And what leads to that, right? How does that work? So there's something called an imbalance, right? There's supply and there's demand. And whenever you have limited supply and high demand, you can see an imbalance. You can see a supernova move, whether to the upside or downside. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for stocks that can be very volatile, that can move up and down quickly, and I can capitalize by being very active, trading hundreds of times within one day. And that's exactly what stock SERA was all about. So let's take a look at the charting for stock SERA. You'll see we had another one here in MLGO. We'll talk about that as well. SERA, guys, this stock today, right? This stock today went from a low of 224 to a high of 986. Now, isn't that something? From 224 to 986 versus yesterday's close, as we saw. In fact, over 300%, right? This is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, Relentless. We understand that this was the stock that you look for, your criteria. It was a volatile stock. It had the ability to move up and down very quickly. What patterns and setups were you looking for? How were you looking to manage your risk, right? So let's come down and let's talk about the patterns and edges that I was looking for, right? The patterns and setups, and what I also like to call edges, right? Something that I've noticed in the market that can give me an advantage due to price action, indicators, and other things, right? So, just to quickly show you guys right here, I have this screen that I look at, right? I have about 4 monitors, and this is one of my main screens that I look at here to see, price action. This includes all my instruments. This color-coded instrument here is what is called level 2. It shows the market data, where people are looking to buy, where people are looking to sell, and a current flow of what's happening real time with buyers and sellers, which is called the tape. And so I'm watching this area here very closely as I'm trading throughout the day, and it really assists me in identifying and threading the needle with certain trades. So again, we're trading hundreds of times, right? Relentless. What exactly were you looking for? So into the open, I gave the stock some time, and I wanted to see what kind of range we were going to have, because pre-market we saw, this gray area here. This thing was pretty aggressive, right? Pretty aggressive move pre-market. Are we going to be able to continue, or will we need to go sideways, maybe even down before going up? I'm like, okay, let's give it a sec. We went from a low of 490 to a high of 560. Right away, this is the first thing I'm looking at. And I'm looking at this stock like, okay, this is our range for now. This is our range, right? We can bring up the drawing tool here. I'm like, this is my range, right? So I start to watch. I start to pay attention. We then dip down right here. And this is one of the first patterns, and let's say setups that we look for in the classes, right? Which is the baby pullback. It's a small pullback where there's no red candles, right? So we go from a high here of 560 to a low of 521. And I also understand that the low of the range is all the way down there at 490. So as I'm watching the stock starting to base out in an area like this, I recognize that we're holding up a little higher than pulling back, instead of pulling back all the way to the very lows. So I'm watching. The moment I notice that we're starting to base out, I'm in, and we go from 20 to a high of 70. This is the first opportunity that I really liked. There's even the 1-minute candle, which made a new high, over 520. From 520, this pushed up to 560. But I didn't want to get super, super aggressive super early. So we have our first pullback entry there. From 70, what does it do? We get a new high by a couple cents, 10 cents. It goes back where? Exactly to that area of 520. Okay, it comes down 5 cents below. But 5 cents extra below that previous low, when we know that the higher end of the range is at 70, I feel good. So you might say, Relentless, what's your risk if you're buying this thing at 525, 520? Guys, my risk is so tight. If it comes down, 10 cents below the level, I'm looking to get out. 10, 12, 13 cents. Hey, if this thing goes from, if I'm in at 20, this thing comes down to 510, 509, I'm looking to get out because I understand we could come back all the way down to 490. So I'm in tight stop. What does this thing do? High of 570 again. Boom. And I'm not gonna lie, I got caught. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this trade for a third time. But what does the stock do? It comes, I get in at 515. It comes down so fast. It comes down so fast. It comes down so fast, man, that I get caught stopping out at like 504, 503. And of course, it dipped down to where? Our previous low for our range. 490. 490 double bottom rips up to a high of 557 from 490. Look at this, right? From 490 we open, we rip all the way up, man. This is what we like to see. We open up here, we get a new high over the 1 minute candle from 45 to 57. This in itself is another quick entry I could take. And then it dips down to give what? Another entry that I love, which is the VWAP pullback. So we're already seeing the patterns that we talk about in the classes every day. This pulled back to the VWAP, which is this white line, volume weighted average price. And from a low of 480, so it overshoot the level of 490 by just 10 cents, which lets me know, hey, this thing seems like it's bottoming out. I can potentially be backing with another tight risk. And how high can we go? From a low of 480 to a high of 532. Guys, to make the math easy, we're gonna say we're using 1,000 shares. Right? Look at this area here alone. If we're using 1,000 shares, and we can, let's say accurately, and precisely be in on these key areas, position ourselves, manage our risk well, keep our stops tight, and look for these key areas. We went from 70, from what was the low here? From 20 to 70, right? Was that 40, 50 cents? And then again, another 40, 50 cents. That's already $1 a share. From 90 now up to 57, another 60, 70 cents. So there's already like $2 a share. With 1,000 shares, every penny will be $10 plus or minus. If you can position yourself, okay, let's say you're not making the full 50 cents, the full 50 cents, the full 70 cents. Maybe you're making 20 cents, 15 cents, 30 cents. Guys, that adds up. 30 cents on 1,000 shares is $300. You make another 10 cent there, another 10 cent there. Before you know it, you're at $500. You're up 50 cents. That's how this is working. And for me, the longer I've been doing it and the better I've been getting at controlling my risk, I have been willing to put on more size over 1,000 shares. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. And so I'm in, out, over. Before you know it, I'm making 3 cents there, 10 cents here, 50 cents there. Okay, I'll have some losers. By the end of it, I'm net green because I'm keeping my losses so tight. Even big red candles like this, I'm able to sell on the way up and then buy the dip and sell, that's the aim here. Or actually, yeah, no. Actually, I'm mistaking. This candle here, we caught the dip. This one, we could have done a better job catching the dip. So next time we'll improve here to be able to get the trade we need. I got caught here and wasn't willing to buy back quickly enough, so I missed this bigger drop. But anyhow, that's what we're looking for here. And you guys know, for me, I really and truly do my best when the stock starts to go up like this. And this was absolutely beautiful. So, Relentless, what patterns were you looking at once the stock started to take off? Ladies and gentlemen, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's give our other charts some love. Zoom in a little bit there. Can even zoom in a little bit on the daily. So, high of day at the time was around 570. Let's just put a trend line right here. And, just to, make it stand out, we can increase the width. We can make it yellow. This was high of day. So I'm watching this stock and I'm like, you know what? I think this thing might want to go. First and foremost, there's another panic flush bottoming wick, which is another pattern that we look at, which leads to a bullish engulfing. So what this is telling me is that, hey, every time the stock is dropping, it's getting bought back up. Over here, over here. It means that people are interested in buying low and they're also looking to hold it, right? Because if you're in and this thing comes down and it sells off, it definitely, if that selling is coming through real time, it lets us know people are not willing to hold this thing. They don't really care to see it go higher. There's too much weakness. But when people have a reason to believe the stock can be strong, they hold their positions, they buy, they add. So when we hold our lows here and we start to come, into this miniature, wedge here, I'm watching. And before you know it, it's like a small flag right here. It starts to break out. So I'm already watching like a hawk since early here. And I'm in. And I want to see it get over levels of like 550 where we rejected earlier. And if we do, I know this thing might mean business. And we do hold 550 here. And what do? We continue higher. So it pushes all the way to 583. From 583, it gives that pullback where we don't see that red candle, the baby pullback. From a high of 83 to a low of 67. Best believe I'm in right there again. And then it makes the new. So, in actuality, high of day was actually $6. I'm forgetting we had this big wick here. But anyhow, we're breaking over 570. We're breaking over 6. And we push all the way up here to 729. Remember what I mentioned about that 1,000 shares? If you can capture 10 cents, 30 cents, 20 cents, 10 cents. Yeah, you'll have losers too. But if you can keep that risk tight. And so that's what I'm doing even here. I noticed, man, this thing is super strong. It's not really dropping a lot. We get a small bull flag. The candle makes the new high. Right here, tried. It comes back down. But if you're quick to get out, scratch trade. And then boom, look at the follow through on the move up. So, I'll give you guys a small treat. I'm going to show you guys the very beginning of this move here at 10:09 from my live recording today. All right, from my live recording from today. This is usually for my students who are in the program, but I'm going to give you guys a sweet treat. 10:09. So we got to come ahead a little bit more. So let's go back. Let's start to watch at the very beginning of this move here. And these are the type of trades. Hold on. Let's go ahead a little bit. These are the type of trades that I'm really looking for. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, right here, 570. We're coming up, right? So as I mentioned, that break of 570, that break of 6, these are the key areas that we want to see the stock do well and give us that follow through over the highs. So again, I'm keeping my wrist very tight. How well can we do if this thing wants to get over 6? I'm going to get long here for the attempt over 6. Can we see the push? Look at that. And I'm using small share size there. Only 1,300 shares in this particular trade. But that's the type of moves that we see when these stocks are crazy strong. People who are going short, who are buying the stock in hopes for it to go down. When we're coming up to these key levels, they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to keep my stop tight. So they get out, and that equates to more buying, right? If you're not familiar with short selling, you can look up the concept. So that's just one simple. I'm not going to show anything else because, again, these archives are for students to go through. But yeah, when it comes down to these key patterns, this is what we're teaching in the program, right? This is what we're teaching in the program. Whether it's the halt edge, the bear trap, the VWAP pullback, the red to greens, right? It doesn't matter. We're watching. We understand how to manage our risk. And, this is what the classes are all about, right? Talking about these quick bottoming wicks and how we look to trade these opportunities, over and over, right? There's a ton of them. You can see here, big bottoming wick. And so we've been watching at these levels for the longest, right? So, the red to green, the bear trap, the panic flush, right? The VWAP pullback. Guys, these are the patterns that we look at and we trade on a daily basis. You see those bottoming wicks. You see those bottoming wicks in the examples, right? So for those of you who are looking to get started with your day trading education, guys, we got you covered via our program here, which is called Merciless Markets. Why is it called Merciless Markets, Relentless? Well, to be quite honest with you, these markets are merciless, right? These markets are unforgiving. They're like a barren wasteland. And if you allow it to, it will eat you alive. And so what we teach is how to approach the market in ways where your exposure is limited. We preach, and we idolize the simulators. That's what I used. Marcelo also used that, right? This is what we preach in the community. Small share size, right? Tim, Marcelo, myself, practicing with small share size, getting consistent, and then increasing risk. If you want instant gratification, if you want to get rich quick, this is not the place for you. It will take months, more commonly years. But that's what's required for this type of greatness. Nothing great will ever come easy, unless you win like a lottery or something. But even then, there's repercussions of getting a lot of money quickly without being able to manage it. So check out Merciless Markets. Check out our gold program. If you want to rock with Tim, you guys can rock with Tim as well. If you only want Tim's archive, you guys know Tim has been doing well. But if you want the full package, if you want everything, you guys can utilize coupon code DREAM for 50% off. Check it out. Check it out. If you're someone who might say, hey, I'm already doing decent for myself, I don't need a course, guys, check out the chat room. Chat room is where it goes down. Check out the chat room. Check it out. Check it out. This is where we're, conversing, talking throughout the day, before the live stream, during the live stream, after the live stream. You can even come into the P&L section to see how everyone did today. You can scroll up. Hey, how did these guys do? How did the students do? It's all on display, right? All the orange names for the students, it's all on display here. Everyone is posting, they're being transparent, red, green. We're a team, we're a family, and this is what we do. We rock out with each other. You got moderators like Crispy Trades, over 10,000 in a day. It's just incredible atmosphere, a great place to be. Tim, the other mentor here in the community with MMU, 10,000 on a day. These are the type of things that we're doing. We're being very aggressive. We're being very, it's such a great sense of community here right now, man. And I am so blessed and so grateful to have such a wonderful, wonderful community. I mean, I pray every day, man. I pray every day. And it's just crazy to see that this stuff is actually coming true. So let's do whatever is necessary to ensure success. Remember, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. Let's keep chasing our greatness. Let's continue to be relentless. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay green. I'll catch you later. It's been Relentless Trader, and I am signing out.